The cargo station hung silently above the dying blue planet, turning slowly in the dark. Only one man still worked there, Ethan Cross, a human engineer who had stayed behind to fix what others had already given up on. Most of the crew had left weeks ago after a reactor failure. The air smelled of dust and burned wires. Every sound echoed through the empty halls. Ethan moved through the dim corridor with a flashlight in his hand. His boots hit the metal floor with dull thuds. He had one mission left: restart the station's main power core before the oxygen dropped too low. But as he passed the storage bay, something stopped him. A whisper. Faint, broken, like wind through metal. "I'm dirty." Inside and out, Ethan froze. His light swept across the room, catching only crates and shadows. No one should be here. The entire deck was sealed after the reactor explosion. His radio hissed softly in the silence. "Who's there?" he called. "Identify yourself." No reply. Only the creaking of old panels. He took a slow step forward. The sound came again, this time weaker, trembling. He followed it, moving between fallen crates and shattered glass. Then he saw it. A silver emergency blanket lying in the corner, half covered in dust. Something beneath it moved. Ethan knelt, scanning with his wrist device. The sensor beeped irregularly. Life signs detected: unstable, faint. "Hey," he said gently. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The figure under the blanket shivered. "Don't look," came the whisper again, female this time. "Please don't look, I'm not clean." Ethan hesitated. Maybe it was a survivor from one of the alien work crews that used to trade with the station. But why hide? He pulled the blanket aside and froze. Beneath it lay a young alien woman, thin and trembling. Her skin was pale gray, almost translucent, smeared with black dust and streaks of oil. Her hair clung to her face in wet strands, and her arms were wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold her body together. Her eyes opened slowly, bright silver, glowing faintly in the dark. "Stars," Ethan whispered. "You're alive." She flinched at his voice. "You shouldn't touch me," she said weakly. "It spreads. Everything I touch breaks." He checked his scanner again. The readings made no sense. Her body emitted weak radiation and pulses of electromagnetic energy. She wasn't sick. She was powering something. "What's your name?" he asked. She blinked slowly. "Lyra," she whispered. "I was part of the ship, but they broke me, so I hid here." Ethan frowned. "Part of the ship? What do you mean?" But she didn't answer. Her breathing grew shallow. He noticed that her skin glowed faintly where it wasn't covered in dirt. Thin lines of light under the surface, moving like liquid metal through her veins. He reached out to help her, but she recoiled in fear. "Don't, please, if you touch me." "The energy hurts humans." Ethan hesitated. He looked around. There were cracked coolant pipes, melted cables, and a flickering red emergency light. The place was a tomb, yet somehow she had survived in it. He pulled off his jacket and laid it over her shoulders. "You're freezing," he said. She looked at him in confusion. "You're not afraid?" "Of what, dirt?" He smiled faintly. "You should see me after a reactor fix." Lyra gave a small laugh, but it turned into a cough. Sparks of faint light flashed from her skin as she trembled. The air around her buzzed faintly, like static. Ethan realized it wasn't just a survival blanket covering her. Beneath the layers of dust and torn fabric, she had mechanical plates fused into her body, small ports and glowing seams along her arms and back. She was not fully organic. "You're part machine," he said softly. Her eyes filled with tears. "No, I'm a mistake." She turned her face away. "They made me to power ships. I generate energy, too much of it. If I lose control, I burn everything near me. I ran away, but I can't stop leaking energy. I can't stop destroying." Ethan felt a chill. "You mean the reactor that failed, was that you?" She nodded slowly, crying now. "I didn't mean to. I was scared. They wanted to drain me again, so I hid. But the core connected to me, and everything exploded." He looked at her, this fragile creature, broken, dirty, terrified. And yet she was the reason the entire station still had power at all. "Listen," he said firmly. "That wasn't your fault. You survived. That means something." Lyra shook her head. "No, I'm not supposed to survive. I'm supposed to be used." Her words hung in the air like smoke. Ethan stood up and walked to the nearest console. "The life support's failing. If we don't fix the power regulator, both of us die here." Lyra looked at him weakly. "Then let me power it. That's all I can do." "No," he said sharply. "You're hurt. You'll burn yourself again. I'm already burning, she whispered. He turned back to her, frustration in his eyes. You're not a machine, Lyra, you're alive. For a long moment, neither spoke. The ship groaned around them, metal twisting in the cold vacuum. Finally, she said softly, humans always say strange things. He smiled faintly. Yeah, it's one of our features. Her lips curved just a little, her first real smile. But then the scanner on his wrist beeped violently. A signal spike. Somewhere deep in the reactor room, something had activated. What the... Before he could move, Lyra gasped in pain. Her body arched and a pulse of silver light spread across the floor like a wave. The walls vibrated. The consoles flickered to life. Lyra! Ethan shouted. What's happening? She clutched her chest. It's reacting. The ship's core, it recognizes me. I can't stop it. Ethan grabbed the emergency injector from his belt and tried to stabilize the surge, but the readings kept climbing. The power levels spiked higher and higher. Listen to me, he said, gripping her shoulders. You have to breathe, focus, you're not a reactor, you're you. She stared into his eyes. Her silver glow dimmed slightly. No one's ever said that to me before, she whispered. The light steadied. The hum softened. Ethan let out a slow breath. Good, keep it that way. But before he could stand, an alarm blared through the station, long, low, and mechanical. The comm screen lit up with red symbols. Incoming transmission detected. Signal origin, unknown warship. Lyra's expression changed from exhaustion to pure terror.
They found me, she said.
They're coming, Ethan frowned. Who? The ones who made me, she said softly. They'll take me back. They'll drain me again until I'm empty. He clenched his jaw. Not while I'm here. She shook her head, her voice trembling. You don't understand, human. They'll destroy this whole station just to reach me. Ethan looked at her glowing veins, at the faint silver light pulsing under her skin. Then we'll have to make sure they don't. He turned toward the control panel, already calculating shield reactivation. Behind him, Lyra whispered again, so faint he almost didn't hear it. Now you've seen what I am, she said. They will come for me. Ethan didn't look back. Then let them come, he said quietly. They'll wish they hadn't. The camera of the story would pan out. The small human standing in the dying light of a forgotten station. And beside him, the alien girl whose body could light up the stars. And somewhere in the dark, engines of an unknown warship began to roar. The red alarm lights painted the walls of the cargo bay as the transmission repeated again and again. Unknown warship approaching. Estimated contact 22 minutes. Ethan's fingers flew over the control panel. Half the systems were dead. Shields were offline. Weapons, none. He looked at Lyra, who sat weakly on the floor, still wrapped in the silver blanket. The faint glow under her skin flickered like candlelight. You said they'll come for you, Ethan said, his voice steady but tense. Who are they? Lyra's eyes lowered. The Construct Guild, she whispered. They build living reactors like me. I escaped their warship. They don't want to lose a power source. Ethan stared at her. So they'll kill to get you back? She nodded slowly. Yes, they see me as a part, not a person. He clenched his jaw. Then we'll make sure they don't get their part back. Lyra shook her head. You don't understand. They'll destroy the station to stop me from falling into enemy hands. You should leave. Take an escape pod. Ethan gave a short, dry laugh. And leave you here? Not my style. She looked at him with quiet confusion. Humans always risk themselves for others. Why? He glanced at her, then at the cracked ceiling above them. Because if we don't, we stop being human. The words silenced the room. Lyra's expression softened. Half disbelief, half wonder. Ethan opened the maintenance panel and grabbed his toolkit. All right, here's the plan. We'll bring the shield generator back online. You said your body generates energy? She hesitated. Yes, but it hurts when I release too much. I'll regulate the output. You'll only need to keep it stable for a few minutes. Lyra stood slowly, her movements shaky but graceful. If I overload, I might destroy this station. Then don't overload, he said with a faint smile. Her lips twitched as if she wanted to smile back. You talk like it's simple. It's what I do best, make impossible things sound easy. They reached the main reactor chamber, a huge circular room filled with floating dust and cold light. Broken conduits sparked weakly. The entire place felt like a frozen heart. Ethan connected power cables to the old regulator core. All right, when I say go, focus your energy here. Lyra stepped forward. Her bare feet made no sound on the floor. She pressed her glowing hands against the machine. Now, a surge of silver light flashed from her palms. The reactor hummed, alive again after weeks of silence. Power readings climbed. The lights in the room flickered to life one by one. Ethan watched in awe. The glow from her body spread like flowing rivers under her skin. Her hair lifted slightly, caught by invisible energy. For a moment she looked like a goddess made of light, but then she gasped. The light flared too bright. Sparks flew. The cables began to melt. "Lyra, stop!" Ethan shouted. She fell to her knees, shaking violently. "I can't control it." Ethan ran forward and grabbed her shoulders, ignoring the heat radiating from her body. His gloves began to smoke, but he didn't let go. "Breathe," he shouted. "Look at me, Lyra. You're not a weapon, you're alive." Her eyes locked on his. Her glow softened. Slowly, the reactor stabilized. The lights turned steady. Ethan exhaled heavily. "See, you did it." Lyra trembled in his arms. "You touched me, and you didn't die." He grinned, holding up his smoking gloves. "Give me 5 minutes and I might." For the first time she laughed. A small, soft laugh that echoed in the metal chamber like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. When the reactor stabilized, Ethan slumped against the wall. "That's it. Shields are at 40%. It'll buy us some time." Lyra sat across from him, her silver eyes dim now. "Why do you help me?" she asked quietly. He looked at her for a moment before replying. "Because someone should have." Her gaze softened. "In my world, help is never free. What do you want in return?" "Just your promise," he said, "that you'll stop calling yourself dirty." Lyra blinked. "But I am." Your body kept you alive," he interrupted. "You're not dirty. You're strong." She looked away as if the words hurt. "No one has ever said that to me." "Then I guess I'm the first." For a moment, neither spoke. The soft hum of the reactor filled the silence. Then the alarm sounded again. Enemy ship entering orbit. Ethan's heart jumped. He pulled up the scanner feed. A massive vessel appeared on the display. Black hull, glowing red engines, and the guild insignia carved into its side. Lyra's face turned pale. "They're here." The warship launched drones, small metallic spheres descending like fireflies through the planet's thin atmosphere. Ethan could see them entering the outer ring of the station. "We need to move," he said. "If they breach, we're done." Lyra followed him down the hall, still weak but determined. As they ran, the walls shook from distant impacts. "Ethan," she said breathlessly, "if they capture me, promise me something." He glanced at her. "What?" "Don't let them take me alive," he stopped. "That's not happening." She stared at him, her silver eyes glimmering. "You don't understand what they'll do. They'll turn me into a weapon again. I'll kill thousands without meaning to." Ethan's face hardened. Then we stopped them together. They reached the command deck, a wide circular bridge filled with flickering consoles. Ethan began locking the outer hatches and rerouting power to defense systems. Lyra moved beside him, placing her hands over the broken main console. "I can connect," she said. "My systems can talk to the ship's code. But if I do, they might trace my signal." "Do it," Ethan said. "We need control," she nodded. Her eyes closed. Her body began to glow again, this time brighter and smoother. Data streamed across the screens faster than any human could type. The turrets outside the station came alive, turning toward the incoming drones. One by one, the drones exploded in silent flashes of light. Ethan stared in amazement. "You're incredible," Lyra didn't reply. Her expression was distant, focused. Sparks of light surrounded her body like stars. Then suddenly her voice broke through the static. "Ethan, I feel them." "Who?" "The guild. Their signals are inside my mind. They're trying to take control." Ethan ran to her side. "Fight it!" She gritted her teeth. "They're calling me back. They're overriding my code." Her body jerked violently. The lights flickered red. The ship's AI screen flashed with alien symbols. "Lyra," Ethan shouted. She screamed, her voice mixed with mechanical distortion. "It hurts." Without thinking, Ethan pulled the power conduit from the main console. Sparks burst around them. The energy link broke. Lyra collapsed against him, trembling. Her silver veins dimmed again. "I stopped them," she whispered weakly. "But they know where we are now." Ethan looked through the viewport. The warship had turned toward the station, charging its main cannon. "We've got minutes," he said. Lyra coughed softly. "If I release everything I have, I can overload their cannon." But I might not survive it. No, Ethan said firmly. There has to be another way. She gave a faint smile. There never is. Ethan knelt beside her, his voice low but strong. You listen to me, Lyra. You're not a tool. You don't have to die to prove you're worth something. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You make me wish I was human. He brushed a strand of her hair aside. You already are, more than most. Outside, the enemy cannon glowed brighter. The final charge built up. Lyra stood shakily, her glow rising again. Then let me be human. Just once, Ethan tried to grab her arm, but she stepped away. Her eyes shone like twin stars. If I burn, she whispered, at least I'll burn for a reason. Before he could stop her, she walked into the reactor chamber again. The door sealed behind her. Through the glass window, Ethan saw her place both hands on the reactor core. The light inside her grew until it filled the room. The station trembled. Every light turned white, and then silence. When the brightness faded, Ethan stood alone in the dimly lit command deck. The enemy warship was gone, vanished, vaporized in the explosion. The station still floated, somehow intact. On the console, the systems rebooted one by one, and in the static-filled speakers, a soft voice spoke. Ethan. I'm still here, his breath caught. Lyra? Her voice was calm, gentle, echoing through the ship. I merged with the systems. I am the station now. He closed his eyes, smiling with tears he didn't understand. You did it. I told you, she said softly. I'm dirty inside and out. But maybe now, I can start to be clean, Ethan whispered. No, Lyra. You're perfect. The station's lights glowed faintly in response, as if she was smiling back. The silence after the explosion felt endless. The hum of the station was gone, replaced by a slow rhythm like breathing. Ethan stood in the command deck, staring at the blinking lights on the control screen. He pressed the communicator again. Lyra, are you still there? For a moment, only static. Then softly, Ethan, I'm here. Her voice came from everywhere. It echoed through the walls, soft and warm like a heartbeat under metal. He turned slowly, unsure whether to smile or cry. You're part of the system now. Yes, she said, her voice smooth, almost human. My body is gone, but my mind remains. I can feel the wires, the circuits, the power running through the walls. It's strange. I'm free but trapped. Ethan leaned on the console. You saved me, Lyra. You saved everyone. She hesitated. I didn't save myself, he sighed. You don't have to. You're alive. That's what matters. Outside the viewport, the warship's remains floated like ash in the dark. But something in the blackness moved, a faint blue flicker. Ethan's heart sank. Lyra scanned the debris field. The lights above flickered as she focused her new sensors. I detect movement. Small crafts. They survived, of course, he thought. The guild wouldn't go down that easily. How long until they reach us? 8 minutes, she said. But Ethan, I can't raise shields. My energy output is unstable after the surge. Ethan grabbed his toolkit. Then we'll repair what we can. You can't, she warned. It's too damaged, he smiled faintly. That never stopped me before. He ran through the corridor toward the reactor chamber, boots clanging on metal. The walls glowed faintly where Lyra's presence pulsed through the cables. Her voice followed him softly. You shouldn't risk your life again. Too late, he said breathlessly. I already did when I met you. She didn't reply, but the lights brightened like a sigh. Ethan reached the core room. Half the systems were burnt out, but the main conduits were still glowing with Lyra's faint silver light. He opened the panels, rewired circuits, and forced damaged cables to connect again. Sparks jumped, burning his gloves, but he didn't stop. Ethan, Lyra said, her voice shaking. The fighters are docking. You need to go, he gritted his teeth. Not yet. I can protect you if you stay in the command deck. He tightened one last bolt. And leave you alone down here? Not happening. Outside, the small guild fighters latched onto the station's hull. Metal screeched. The sound echoed through every corridor. Lyra's voice filled the speakers, stronger now. I can see them. 4 boarding crafts. They're cutting through the airlock. Then we make them regret it, Ethan muttered. He pulled out a plasma cutter and sealed the side corridor doors. The air trembled with distant impacts as enemy drones entered. Lyra, reroute power to Section C's doors. I'll try. The corridor lights dimmed, then flared red. Bulkhead slammed shut. For a moment, the station felt alive again, angry and aware. "You're doing great," Ethan said. Her voice was soft. "It feels strange, Ethan. Every time I move energy, it feels like I'm moving my own blood." He smiled. "Then keep the blood flowing." The first drone broke through a vent above him, a metal sphere with glowing red eyes. It fired a bolt of plasma. Ethan ducked behind a crate, then grabbed his cutter and sliced through the drone's midsection. Sparks showered over him. "Nice move," Lyra said. "Thanks. You're my eyes. Keep them open." More drones entered from the far end of the hall. The air was thick with heat and light. Ethan fought his way through, guided by her voice, one command at a time. "Left corridor, 2 targets. Watch your back, above you. Duck now." Her tone changed. No longer mechanical, but emotional, urgent. She was no longer just an AI giving directions. She was there with him, fighting beside him. When the last drone fell, Ethan collapsed against the wall, chest heaving. "That's all of them?" "For now," Lyra said. "But their command ship is still intact. They're preparing a final strike." He looked up. "You said your power was unstable. Can you still use it?" There was silence then. "If I push too hard, I'll burn out completely." He closed his eyes. "What happens if you don't?" "They'll destroy us both." He looked at the glowing reactor. "Then we take the risk together." Lyra hesitated. "Ethan, before I do this, there's something I need to say." "Say it." "I always thought I was created to destroy, that I was dirty, broken, unworthy. But when you looked at me, you didn't see a weapon. You saw a person." He smiled faintly. "Because you are," her voice trembled. "If I disappear after this, I want to thank you for seeing me." He placed his hand on the metal wall. "You're not disappearing, Lyra. You're coming back. I promise." The walls pulsed under his palm like a heartbeat. "Then stand back," she whispered. The entire station began to glow. The silver light spread through the floors, walls, and ceilings like flowing rivers. Outside, the guild ship prepared to fire. Lyra's voice grew louder. "Ethan, I need you to open the outer conduits. They'll help me channel the blast." He rushed to the panel, forcing open levers and switches. "Done." Her glow intensified. "Now hold on." A pulse of pure energy burst from the station. The surrounding space lit up with white fire. The guild ship's cannon overloaded before it could fire. The explosion engulfed it completely. Ethan shielded his eyes. The entire world turned white. When the light faded, silence fell again. The enemy was gone. "Lyra?" he whispered. No answer. He pressed the communicator. "Lyra, talk to me." Static. He ran to the reactor room. The walls were dark. The glow was gone. The core was silent. He slammed his fist against the console. "Come on, Lyra. You can't just vanish." For a long moment, there was nothing. Then one faint flicker on the screen. "Ethan," he froze. "I'm here." Her voice was weak, barely a whisper. "I'm tired, but it's quiet now. No more voices. No more commands." He felt a tear roll down his cheek. "You did it, Lyra. You're free." She paused. "Free, yes. But I can't feel my body anymore. Only light. You're more than your body," he said softly. "You always were." The lights around him shimmered gently as if she smiled. "You still think I'm beautiful?" He laughed through tears. "You're the most beautiful thing in the galaxy," days passed. Ethan repaired what he could. The station floated peacefully over the silent planet. Every time he walked through the halls, the lights glowed softly under his steps, like a gentle greeting. Lyra spoke to him sometimes in the quiet hours. Her voice was calmer now, almost human. "Do you think I'm still alive, Ethan?" "You're talking to me, aren't you?" "Yes, but I don't breathe." "Maybe life isn't just about breathing," he said. "Maybe it's about meaning, and you've got plenty of that." One evening, as he sat near the observation deck, the stars reflected in the glass. "Ethan," she said quietly, "if I could have one wish, it would be to see the stars. With my own eyes again," he smiled. "Then I'll show them to you." He opened a small panel and connected his Neuralink headset to the console. "You'll see what I see. Ready?" Yes, he activated the link. For a moment, silence, and then a gasp through the speakers. "They're so beautiful," she whispered. He smiled softly. "Told you." She laughed, a sound that was half static, half music. "You humans always find beauty in everything. Only when we look hard enough," he said. "You just had to look harder at yourself." The lights brightened around him, warm and golden. "Thank you, Ethan, for seeing me." He leaned back, eyes closing. Anytime, Lyra, always. Outside the viewport, the planet turned slowly, bathed in the silver glow of the station's light, her light. In that endless dark, one human and one consciousness remained, bound by something deeper than circuitry or blood. And whenever the station's systems hummed softly through the night, Ethan swore he could still hear her whisper, "I'm not dirty anymore. I'm alive."